The sky over Los Angeles had turned a strange shade of orange that afternoon. At first, many people thought it was just another hot California day, the kind where the sun burns bright and the air feels heavy. But within hours, the smell of smoke spread through neighborhoods, creeping into homes, schools, and offices. What began as a small wildfire quickly turned into a raging disaster. Flames moved faster than anyone expected, pushed by strong winds that carried sparks across dry hills and crowded communities. Families who had spent years building their lives suddenly found themselves packing whatever they could carry into cars. Some grabbed photo albums, others rushed to save important documents, while many simply ran with their children and pets, leaving everything else behind. Sirens echoed through the streets as firefighters battled the growing flames. Emergency alerts buzzed on phones, warning residents to evacuate immediately. For thousands of people, the fire didn't just destroy buildings. It shattered the sense of safety they once felt. Homes that held memories of birthdays, weddings, and everyday life turned into ashes overnight. Schools closed, businesses burned down, and entire neighborhoods were forced to start over. Yet in the middle of the chaos, something powerful began to happen. Strangers helped strangers. Neighbors opened their doors to families who had nowhere to go. Volunteers arrived with food, water, and blankets. The disaster revealed not only the destruction of fire, but also the strength of human compassion. And this is where people like you can make a real difference. When we see images of wildfires on the news, we often focus on the flames, but the true impact goes far beyond what we see burning on the screen. For the families affected, losing a home is only the beginning of a long and painful journey. Imagine waking up one morning and realizing everything you owned, your clothes, your furniture, your memories are gone. Many survivors leave evacuation zones with nothing but the clothes they were wearing. Children are among the most vulnerable victims of these disasters. Suddenly they must leave their schools, their friends, and the routines that made them feel secure. The emotional trauma can last long after the fire is extinguished. Small business owners also face devastating losses. Many local shops and restaurants are family-run, businesses that took decades to build. When a wildfire destroys them, it doesn't just affect the owner, it impacts employees, customers, and the entire community that relied on those services. The economic damage can reach billions of dollars, but more importantly, the emotional toll on families can be even harder to measure. Stress, anxiety, and uncertainty become part of everyday life for survivors trying to rebuild. That's why disaster relief is so important. Recovery doesn't happen overnight. It requires time, resources, and support from people who care enough to help. In times of disaster, communities become the strongest source of hope. After the Los Angeles fires, volunteers from across the country began stepping forward to help those who lost everything. Some people donated money to relief organizations that provide emergency shelter and supplies. Others volunteered their time, helping distribute food, clothing, and medical assistance to displaced families. Local restaurants prepared meals for firefighters working around the clock, while community centers turned into temporary shelters. Social media also played a huge role. People used online platforms to organize donation drives, share evacuation information, and connect families with resources they desperately needed. What makes disaster relief so powerful is that every small action contributes to a larger wave of support. A single blanket can keep someone warm at night. A meal can bring comfort to a family going through the worst day of their lives. Even sharing reliable information can help connect victims with the assistance they need. Helping doesn't always require massive resources. Sometimes it simply requires the willingness to care. And when thousands of people come together with that same mindset, real change happens. When people hear about disasters, the first instinct is often to ask, what do the victims need? The answer may seem simple, but in reality their needs change over time. In the first few hours after a wildfire forces families to evacuate, survival becomes the top priority. People need safe shelter, clean water, food, and basic medical care. Emergency shelters often fill quickly with families who had to leave their homes with almost nothing. Volunteers work tirelessly to provide blankets, clothing, hygiene kits, and essential supplies. These small items may seem ordinary, but to someone who has lost everything, they mean the world. As days turn into weeks, the needs begin to shift. Families start looking for temporary housing. Parents try to get their children back into school. Workers search for ways to return to their jobs or find new ones after businesses are destroyed. Mental health support also becomes extremely important. Survivors of wildfires often struggle with trauma, fear and uncertainty about the future. Counseling services and emotional support programs can help families begin the healing process. Understanding these needs is the first step in providing meaningful help. When communities and organizations work together, they can ensure that victims receive not just immediate relief, but long-term support as they rebuild their lives. One of the most effective ways people can help disaster victims is through donations. Financial contributions allow relief organizations to quickly purchase the supplies that survivors need the most. Instead of guessing what might be useful, these organizations can respond directly to the changing needs of affected communities. Donations help provide food, clean water, emergency housing, and medical assistance. They also support long-term rebuilding projects, including repairing homes, restoring schools, and helping small businesses reopen. Even small donations can have a big impact when combined with the contributions of thousands of others. For example, the cost of a single meal may seem insignificant, but when multiplied by many donors, it can feed entire shelters filled with displaced families. Transparency is also important when donating. Trusted relief organizations carefully manage funds and ensure that resources reach those who need them most. By supporting these organizations, donors become part of a larger effort to rebuild communities affected by disaster. Giving is not just about money, it's about hope. Every contribution sends a powerful message to survivors that they are not alone. While donations are essential, volunteers are the heart of disaster relief efforts. These individuals give their time, energy, and compassion to help people they may have never met before. Volunteers assist in many different ways. Some help distribute food and supplies at shelters. Others support evacuation centers, organize donation drives, or help families fill out forms for assistance programs. There are also skilled volunteers who play specialized roles during disaster recovery. Medical professionals provide care to injured victims. Construction workers help rebuild damaged homes. Counselors offer emotional support to families coping with trauma. Even those who cannot travel to disaster zones can still volunteer in meaningful ways. Many people help organize fundraising events, spread awareness online, or collect supplies in their local communities. What makes volunteering so powerful is the human connection it creates. For someone who has lost everything, seeing people step forward to help can restore faith in humanity. It reminds survivors that even in the darkest moments, kindness still exists. When wildfires spread across communities, firefighters and emergency responders are often the first people to arrive. They risk their lives battling intense flames, heavy smoke, and unpredictable conditions to protect others. During major wildfire disasters, firefighters can work for days with little rest. The physical and emotional demands of their job are enormous. They face dangerous situations while trying to save homes, animals, and entire neighborhoods. Supporting these heroes is another important way people can help. Donations of food, water, and protective equipment can make a big difference for teams working on the front lines. Many communities also organize appreciation events to show gratitude for the sacrifices these responders make. First responders are not just firefighters. Police officers, paramedics, and emergency management teams all play critical roles during disaster situations. They coordinate evacuations, provide medical treatment, and help maintain safety during chaotic conditions. By supporting these brave individuals, communities strengthen the entire disaster response system and ensure that help reaches those who need it most. After the flames are extinguished and the news cameras leave, the long process of rebuilding begins. For wildfire survivors, this stage can be both hopeful and overwhelming. Rebuilding a home takes time, resources, and patience. Families must work with insurance companies, contractors, and local authorities while navigating the emotional pain of losing what they once had. Community support continues to play a vital role during this stage. Fundraising campaigns, rebuilding projects, and volunteer construction teams help families return to safe homes. Schools and community centers also work hard to restore a sense of normal life for children. Some survivors choose to rebuild their homes exactly as they were before, while others take the opportunity to design safer, more fire-resistant structures. These improvements can help protect communities from future disasters. Recovery is not a quick process, but with consistent support, families can slowly move forward, each repaired home and reopened. Business becomes a symbol of resilience and determination. Awareness is one of the most powerful tools in disaster relief. When people understand the challenges victims face, they are more likely to step forward and help. Sharing accurate information through social media, news platforms, and community events can inspire others to donate, volunteer, or advocate for stronger disaster preparedness policies. Educational campaigns also help communities learn how to prevent future wildfires. Proper forest management, fire-resistant building materials, and emergency preparedness plans can reduce the damage caused by future disasters. Schools, organizations, and local governments all play a role in spreading awareness. By teaching people how to respond during emergencies, communities can save lives and protect homes. Every person who shares information or encourages others to help becomes part of a larger movement of compassion and responsibility. Disasters like the Los Angeles wildfires remind us how fragile life can be. In a matter of hours, flames can destroy homes, neighborhoods, and years of hard work. But these tragedies also reveal something powerful: the incredible strength of human kindness. Across the country and around the world, people step forward to help strangers during their most difficult moments. Donations, volunteer work, and simple acts of compassion can bring hope to families who feel like they have lost everything. Helping disaster victims is not just about rebuilding structures. It is about restoring lives. It is about giving children a safe place to sleep, helping parents provide for their families again, and reminding survivors that they are not alone. Every person has the ability to make a difference, whether through donating, volunteering, or simply spreading awareness. Each action contributes to the recovery of communities affected by disaster. The fires may have taken homes and possessions, but they cannot take away the strength of people who refuse to give up. Together, communities can rise from the ashes stronger than before, and that is where your help truly matters.